Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the world premiere of the brand new podcast, Maximum Intelligence. I'm your host, Eli Brown. This is my co-host,
Daniel Finney.
Yep, and this podcast, you're probably watching it on YouTube. However, Daniel, not even sure if you know this, it is also going up on Spotify. I figured out how to do that.
Wow.
Audio version, at least, going up. I think I like the idea of audio going up on Spotify, video on YouTube, not video on Spotify. So that is...
We're not going to copy Joe Rogan.
Now, you might be wondering, what is Maximum Intelligence? That's a very catchy, very good name, very good for marketing, very, clickbaitable. Everyone's watching this podcast. Everyone wants to see it. The reason it's called that, and the reason that this is a gift to the world, as you might have seen in the description, is that Daniel and I happen to be, coincidentally, the two most intelligent people on Earth. Now, intelligence can be measured in a variety of ways. There's IQ, there's book smart, there's street smart even. We are most intelligent in, coincidentally, every single dimension of analysis of intelligence. So,
it's true.
The odds that we met at all is insane. And so to not share that with the world and to not just spill our absolute gold that's within our mind to the rest of the world would be kind of a tragedy. For that
It's like with great power comes great responsibility. And we were just gifted with so much intelligence. It's like it would be wrong, probably a sin even.
I think it'd be
for us to
morally
not
wrong.
share it.
It would.
Yeah.
Because the horrible catastrophes that could happen in the world, not having this kind of information and intellect spread, would be on us. That would be our fault.
Yeah, 100%. We legally have to, I think, at this point. And it also, what this podcast is going to change depending on when you're watching this. Because if you're watching it in 2021, then it's it's like a medium-sized podcast. It's pretty good, kind of quirky, kind of funny, mostly just intelligent.
Educational.
But then if you're watching it in 2022, you probably don't even need any introduction. It's the biggest podcast in the world.
Absolutely.
Right? We already are we're nominated for
congratulations,
the Webby Awards. That's crazy. It is pretty unbelievable.
That's insane.
All of these other just kind of cringe podcasts, it's wow, we passed you up. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit some of those kind of at points made me. I don't. They helped me in certain version of my life, right? I don't want to fully diss them, right? There's some good ones out there, but nowhere near this. So.
Yeah, for sure.
To start off the first episode. Being January 1st, right? That's what day it is? Okay.
January 1st.
We want to go over last year's resolutions, being that we made a video on our personal last year New Year's resolutions on a comedy vlog YouTube channel that we have, and we want to see how we did on those. Let's reflect. You chose 3 for yourself.
Do you want me to start?
Sure. The reason Daniel laughed real quick is we sort of have a general idea of what they are, and we did not do well. But, you start. What were your goals?
Well, I'm just going to say skincare and hair care and 1 foot in the door with photography. With wedding photographer specifically. And I will say that I did good on one of them, skincare. This is probably the weirdest one, honestly. Probably the least.
They're all 3 pretty weird, if I'm being honest. To me.
Yeah. I think to most people, they would be kind of weird. But with skincare, this is actually pretty dope. This is the first time I've ever done something like this in my entire life. I set the goal for myself to do it every single day. Because even lose weight or go to the gym, most people don't have a goal of doing that every single day. And I know that sounds dumb, but most people think realistically, it's
5 days a week.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, my overall goal is for that to be a habit and for me to lose weight. But my goal was to do it every single day because I wanted to see the benefit of doing it every day. And I have, to this point, all of 2020 done my full skincare routine every single day, even when camping, dude. You know that?
That's crazy.
I went camping during the year and I had to find ways to be able to do it.
It'd be really funny is if you didn't do it some point in the next 3 days. Just because 2020 is not over. It's December 29th for that joke to make sense.
Yep.
Real quick.
Yep.
That's crazy. Good job. I didn't even know that. I wish I could
Mhm.
say I see a difference in your skin. I don't want to
Yep.
say all that effort went to nothing, but I'm sure in the long run, maybe it'll affect something, hopefully.
So I mean, I can say personally that especially when I first started doing it, I got multiple compliments like within the
Mm.
first 2 months about my skin from some people that I had never met before, some people like my coworkers, family members, that kind of stuff that saw a noticeable difference.
Okay. Good job.
That's cool. Yeah,
I'm glad you're
thanks.
succeeding in one of your priorities, and that's
It's a weird priority, isn't it?
kind
It's
of
not
weird for
even
sure.
that big of a priority, but it was cool to be able to say like even this small thing of like taking 5 minutes out of my day to do something and me successfully being able to do it
No, I
every
do
single day.
think, yeah, that alone is jokes aside, that is a very cool, very impressive thing. I don't think I can say that I've done something every single day of the year. So, well, I can
Pretty crazy.
actually, but not like as a goal that I wouldn't
Yeah.
have done by sheer carnal instinct, if
Right.
you know what I mean.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I get you.
What was your second goal? Photography? Oh, no, hair was the second goal.
Hair.
Yep.
That was kind of just a dumb goal, honestly. I kind of just forgot about that. I still have hair. As
Okay.
far as I can tell, actually, I do think my hair has started receding. By the way, I feel like I
Really?
can notice like more thin, like right in the corner. I don't know.
I don't. That now
Who
that you
knows? We'll
say it,
see.
me looking at mine, I mean, not to talk about visual stuff on a partially audio podcast. I have a
Right.
massive Mario logo as my skin, as my hairline. It's a
Yeah.
huge M. So I kind of like it. I like the idea of that getting sharper, having the edges of the M go even higher, and the middle
Get that
come
nice
lower.
male pattern baldness.
Yeah.
Epic.
Heck yeah, love it.
Yeah.
My dad was bald when he was in his like early 30s or something. It was pretty young, and so I've got a exciting future of hair loss.
Do you think you're gonna look good bald? Do you think you're just gonna shave it all off, or do you think you're gonna try to keep whatever hair you
I
have?
think there's very little I could do to not look good.
Dang, that's
I'll
crazy.
experiment. I'll do whatever. I'll probably
Yeah, whatever.
dye once I only have the sides of hair and the top bald. I'll probably dye the sides like green and get quirky with it. Do some weird stuff just because it'll be
Mhm.
funny. But yeah, who knows? We'll see. I like how it is right now though.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Hair,
so
you don't like that goal. You still have
yeah, it
hair.
was a dumb goal. I still have hair. I will not ever make that goal again. The third one that I set was 1 foot in the door with wedding photography. So being like a backup photographer or like an internship with wedding photography. That was kind of like my goal. Did not successfully achieve that, but I will say as a consolation prize to myself that I did get better at photography during the year. So that's cool.
Good. Yeah, you did
Yeah.
some cool shoots. You've shown me some of the pictures of the photo shoots you've done with models or what have you, and they've been very
Mhm.
impressive, and they've looked very good.
Yep. My OnlyFans portfolio just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's impressive.
Awesome. That's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you should bump it up to like $45 or $50 a month at this point because of the quality of content.
Right.
That's on there.
It's like obviously I'm posting better stuff than Belle Delphine does.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What
her
about yours?
promised Christmas video, kind of a disappointment.
I actually don't know what you're referring to. I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
be
really
honest.
don't?
I really don't.
You were the one that told me about it. You were like, Belle Delphine promised she was going to do actual porn.
Oh,
on
I
Christmas.
heard about that. I didn't know that it was from Christmas.
Oh,
Like
my bad.
I basically I just it was like a headline thing that I saw. I was like, oh, Belle Delphine's gonna do porn. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
she said
that's
it
cool.
was going to come out on Christmas, and then I was making. a
Actually, I
joke
feel
and
like I
watched
do
it.
remember that. That's pretty funny.
I also gave you 3 jokes or
Oh,
3
3
goals.
resolutions.
I gave you 3 resolutions. Yeah.
All right. So your resolutions to me were create and stick to a budget.
Mm-hmm.
I did not do that. I did not create a budget and I did not stick to a budget. The 2 things I will say about that is that I ended the year with a higher net worth than I started. So that's cool.
Good. I hope so.
Then I did budget certain months, but it didn't really become a goal for me to like make a budget for every single month. And what I mean by budgeted certain months is I just kept track of like what I was spending my money in each category, because I wanted to keep myself in balance of like, if one category was like way, way, way higher than what it should have been, then
well, we even
just
talked
keep
about it
track
at
of
the point.
that.
I didn't mean specifically to plan out where your money was going before you got it, like I do. I
Mhm.
meant more of at least just tracking where it went. That's kind of what I meant by budget.
So then did I succeed? But I didn't do that every month.
But did you do it more than last year? And did you do any of it
I
because
did.
of the goal I gave you? Probably
Maybe.
not. Maybe.
I did it more than last year for sure, but I don't know. I don't know if I did it because of your goal.
Okay, I'm gonna say you 50% achieved that goal. You got
Okay.
100% on skin. You got like 10% on hair. The reason you have some is because you forgot. With photography, I'll say you got like 40%. It wasn't wedding photography, but you increased in photography. Budgeting, I'll give you like 50%. And how did you do with gym and finding a new career? Those are the second two goals I gave to Daniel.
Yep. So the second one is like going to the gym and losing weight. And although I never stepped foot in a actual gym building, I did lose a lot of weight. And so right now, so the bet that we made during the video, we should at least briefly mention this. We made a $500 bet to lose weight and get ripped. That was kind of just like the goal, and we don't have a strict definition on what getting ripped means. Some of us, like Eli, has a specific weight that he has to hit. I don't. I just have to get ripped. So
yeah, so Daniel and I's $500 bet. We're 6 months in right now, but even before that bet started, I had given them the resolution to go to the gym because his body disgusted me.
For good reason, dude, for sure. So when that bet started, I was at 245 pounds, and right now I'm down to 210 pounds.
That's adding 30 pounds in 6 months is not bad.
Yeah. I will also say that technically at the beginning of this year, I was more than 245 pounds because when that bet already started, I had already started losing weight for about a month. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know actually what I was at. I would guess maybe like 250. The max that I ever was in my life was 260 pounds. And that was my in between my junior and senior year of high school. Not crazy.
It is relative, if that's crazy or not. I'll say you got like a 75% on gym. Not 100 because I don't know, actually. Maybe you should get higher than that because if the first 6 months of the year you were still pursuing losing weight, would you say that you were trying to lose weight?
I would say the first 3 months. Yeah, the first 3 months of the year, I did not pursue it at all.
I want to give you like 85% then because even though you didn't go into a gym, the point was to work out. It wasn't specifically to go to a gym. So that one, really good. Really good. And then the last one, the reason I wanted you to change your career or at least decide what your long-term career should be is because at the time you had been talking to me a lot about how that was a major thing in your life you wanted to kind of fix, if that makes sense. And right now you work at
NASA? Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Oh, oh, my bad.
Oh, it was a question. I couldn't remember.
My bad.
I was like, NASA? Was it SpaceX? Can't remember. Was it that plutonium reactor?
Yeah, I think Trader Joe's is kind of on like the same level as like NASA and SpaceX and
well, you can
like
see
some
why
of those
I got
companies.
them confused. So.
Yeah, they're very similar things. Yeah, but I do not have a different job than when I started the year as.
Do you have a better idea of what you want to end up doing?
I have some short-term goals for the next year of things that I want to do. But actually at this point, I don't think it's the smartest move for me to leave the job that I'm in.
Yeah, and I didn't even mean to quit that job in the next year. I just kind of wanted you to put effort into like planning out more long-term career choices, if that makes sense.
Yep, I do have some good plans and stuff that I will be doing during the next year. Hopefully. That's probably one of my goals for the next year, but
good.
Are you changing the lights in your room?
I changed them a little bit. They were very white and piercing.
It was like too sharp.
It was sharp, yeah.
Yeah.
My 3 goals, the 3 goals I set for myself. Gym. Go to the gym, work out. I was doing a pretty good job at the time we made those things. I think I went like 3 or 4 months in a row at the time that I made that goal. And then between that and the start of our bet, I also had a section where I did pretty good. I went probably I'd estimate like 4 times a week for 3 months maybe. It was decent. But the problem is it wasn't 5 times a week, which was the goal. And the bigger problem is it was only about 4 months. And then I never went to the gym again, even after the bet. So we're 6 months into a $500 body bet in which I have not gone to the gym.
We're actually 7. We only have 5 months left.
7 months in. Not good. Stick to budget was my second goal. The thing that's good about that is I have successfully made a budget, tracked every cent I have spent. That I've been successfully doing that for a few years now. I can go back very far. Every cent, not an exaggeration. And but as far as stick to budget, I don't know if you can count it because I've been like, oh, how much have I been spending? Oh, I have $100 in spending. Yeah, but it's Christmas, and I want to get everyone a present. I'm gonna go overboard, right?
Do you think you're going to get back on track though? Like next month, are you going to spend less so that you're not in the deficit?
I'm definitely going to make up for it. But I haven't been sticking to a savings goal very well because I do have a savings goal where I save X per month, right? And I've been spending more than I should to stick to that. So even though I have a budget, I think I failed the idea of sticking to the budget. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I definitely think that was a failure on my part. And when I say I went over in Christmas, I went over by $1,000, more than $1,000. So it's not like it's very controlled at all. It needs to be a lot more under control. And then my third goal for myself was to learn the song 21 Guns on guitar, 21 Guns by Green Day. I have not physically touched a guitar in probably a year and a half as of this moment. So I can easily say that goal was a failure. The 3 goals you gave to me, one was to fix my eyebrow. If you want to switch over to YouTube, if you're not there already, I've got an eyebrow that's got an issue. And it's not Tourette's or anything, just the callus grows in the incorrect direction on half of one of my eyebrows. I've Googled it before, a long time ago. I Googled, can you change the direction of a callus? Like, my question was, if I super glued this for like months in a row, would it actually change the callus, like stretch the skin permanently to grow hair in that direction? And I don't think it does. I think it's impossible. So
Really?
I don't think as of right now, I admit I did not do very much research. I only Googled that one time and read like 2 little things and went, doesn't sound possible because people are like, no, F you. You want to change a callus? F you. That's basically what they said. And so I was like, maybe I should just shave my eyebrows wider, which I did one time. I got a razor and just put it widthwise in between my eyes. If you can imagine, went straight down the front of my face in between my eyebrows. And that doesn't look very good either, so I wouldn't count that as fixing my eyebrow. And now, since we've made that goal, I've also gotten a girlfriend that begs me to not get rid of that part of my eyebrow. She loves that part of my eyebrow. I think her sensors for symmetry are messed up, if you know what I mean. She cannot see that it is not symmetrical. That is my point.
It's like a weird diss that you just did on your girlfriend.
It was a weird diss. I wasn't even trying to make it sound like a diss.
Her sensors for symmetry are skewed a little bit.
All right. And then the second goal you gave me, play more video games with friends.
Yep.
Wow. Boy, did that not turn out. I've probably, aside from recording videos for our gaming channel, second channel we're referencing, I've probably only played game with friends 3 times, maybe 4 times.
I would guess it's more than that. I'm going to be honest.
Well, we got the Minecraft modded server thing. That was one big time I got on. And then there was a couple other short, like even like, I don't know, dude. It's.
Yeah, basically you didn't do good on that.
I didn't do good on that. I got a 0 on that, I would say. My last one was to make a bomb casserole, make a really good casserole for Daniel and give it to him. Here's the thing with that, is that was the one I was thinking I will definitely get that one done. Because last time I was in Utah, that was one of my major goals while I was there. Is I'm going to make a casserole. I was gonna have a night at the Airbnb where I bought all the ingredients. I came home, I had a tutorial, and I just made a casserole. It was gonna be really fun. Then I was gonna invite you over a different day and go, look, I made this for you. I made this for you. It was gonna be a tuna and noodle casserole. And guess what?
Dang.
Not only did I not do it, never thought about it again. But like I thought about that one time this entire year and went, ooh, I should do that while I'm in Utah. Never thought about it again. Never did it. The year ends in 3 days, and I failed. So overall, you definitely did more of your goals than I did. We each had 6 goals. I did 0 of them, and you did like 2.3 of them or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a bunch of partial ones.
So you could have done worse. I couldn't have.
I'm going to be honest. I think the only ones that I really did was skincare and then the go to the gym, lose weight. Even though I didn't do that for the whole year because I didn't really have a good definition, I would say those are 2 goals that I did complete.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of the ones I didn't really do anything with.
Yeah.
So
cool.
yeah.
Well,
I got 2 out of 6. You got 0 out of 6.
Dang, dude.
So
I think we should make new goals for 2021. However, I feel like we should do that at the end. That'd be a good way to wrap it up.
Let's definitely do it at the end. Also, I wanted to say my goals to you were like very kind of like joking because they weren't going to make like that big of an improvement on your life. I will say the play video games more because that's how I phrased it was play video games more
with friends.
But as you know, it was like with friends. Did I say that in the video? It was
I
play
think
video
you did
games
play with friends, and I think it was because you want to interact with me more in general.
Yep.
I've been falling away from that. Every year I play video games with friends less and less and less. I play video games in general less and less, but sometimes when I play video games, I play alone. Daniel wanted to play with friends more, and I didn't.
Yeah. It's when he finds a new game that he really likes, it's intense how much time he can spend on it.
It's it's kind of like finding a really good TV show. Now and then I'll find a game and kind of binge it where I'll go like 3 or 4 days and do nothing else. And then when I feel like I've completed it, in quotes, then it's just back to everything else that isn't games. And it's kind of stupid because like I'd say there's been so many games that I've purchased because you or Davin or someone has been like, please play this with me. And I've bought it and played it with you like once or twice. And it was like a $60 game and I've never touched it again. That's happened like 6 or 7 times. There's a lot of money gone into that.
What's the games that I told you to buy this year? I can only think of like Hunt, but did you actually buy that?
Yeah.
Did we play that?
Yeah, I purchased Hunt.
That's still a game that I would want to play with you. I'm having so much fun with that game.
Davin does the same thing. So when I go, oh, you made me buy this and whatever, he's like, I still will play that with you. It's like, I know. I'm not saying you won't. I'm just saying it turned out to be a game I don't know. We none of us like the same type of games. I mean, none of you like the same type of games as I do, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I don't want to
have
like
some nerdy factory games. That's basically it.
Satisfactory. One of the most satisfying games of all time. I have 300 hours in Satisfactory right now. I'm not kidding.
Oh, what?
I can double check that just to make sure it's accurate, which I kind of want to now, but I'm pretty sure. How do you see how many hours you have?
So if you go to Steam and you go to like your profile, I think you should be able to see it there. Like the top right, view my profile.
328.2. But
do you know that's more than I have in Hunt?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. But I do want to say that there's been like 4 nights where I left my computer on with Satisfactory running just to make my factory produce some things overnight. And so that's like 40 hours, maybe 50 hours that isn't real. So it's probably more accurate.
That's
like
crazy.
But it's still a lot.
So that was only in 2020, correct? Because you never played it before 2020.
Yeah, I discovered that game this year.
So I just want to put that out there that you saying that you don't play video games is a crazy statement because you have double. Like let's do a conservative estimate and let's say that it was 40 hours of like AFK time. Do you think that's fair?
Sure. Yeah.
So you have 260 hours in the game. I only have 120 in Hunt.
Yeah, but
And that's been
that
like
doesn't
my
really tell me anything. I guess that if that's been your biggest game, that's a lot. But
yeah.
I also have not really played like almost any other game this entire year.
Yeah.
That's
The only other game,
I'd say that's 90% of my gaming this entire year.
That's fair. Yeah, Hunt is like a really big one, and then I did League of Legends a lot. And I probably put like maybe 200 hours in that. But we probably, yeah, that's kind of crazy, my guy.
It's a lot. It's a lot of time.
That's wild.
Because this is the Maximum Intelligence podcast, it's very worth noting that specific activity, not intelligent. Okay, it's easy to think that every single thing we do is what you should live your life by. Being the most smart,
intelligent, probably
that doesn't mean,
right?
Oh, eventually, at least, like we're eventually going to be the most successful. But I will say, me specifically, not the best at time management, while being the most intelligent. Does that make sense? So some of those things.
Because wouldn't you say that we're the smartest overall? We're just like the clearly,
of course,
obviously the smartest people on the planet in an overall sense. Do you think there's anyone that is smarter with book smarts or knows more about specific subjects, or are we just the smartest in everything?
I was started leaning toward saying Jordan Peterson knows more about psychology. But then I thought about my own extensive experience into psychological research, and I don't think there's any way he knows as much as me.
Yeah. And it's like I took college level math. Probably no one on earth knows more about math than me.
I don't think so. I would be really interested to see like you and like Stephen Hawking or maybe Sam Harris or some of these like intellectual. Maybe some of the intellectual dark web members talking to you, because I'd love to see them get destroyed, get a taste of their own medicine.
With facts and logic.
Facts and logic, yeah. It'd be so funny seeing Ben Shapiro get destroyed by Daniel Finney. Oof, I'd pay for that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's actually going on my OnlyFans. It'd be insane.
For the
fetish. Okay, I agree. And time management, maybe that could be one of your goals. I don't know.
It probably should. I do want to say this, though, about my goals, just to wrap up the resolution section. I don't feel bad at all about the I feel a little bit bad about the gym one, but not really. Like a tiny bit. I don't feel bad at all about the guitar one at all. The casserole one, I'm a little bit disappointed by. I know that sounds stupid, but I was like, it's not that out of a whole year making one casserole. Like it wasn't like a do X every day. It was like make one casserole, and I couldn't do it. And it's like, I think the reason that bugs me is because cooking specifically has been something I've always like avoided, both consciously and I feel like subconsciously. I will not cook. I hate cooking. I've never enjoyed cooking. My mom and my girlfriend have tried getting me to cook. I can't cook. I think that's why you wanted me to make the casseroles. We were talking about how little I know about cooking. And so I was like, okay, make one casserole. That's a very easy, chunked down, one step, baby step, just make a casserole. And I still didn't do it. I'm disappointed about that more than even the gym one.
Oh my gosh.
And play more video games with friends. When you first said it, I kind of low-key thought, that's kind of gay. I don't think that's a successful, like, good goal. And then later I was thinking about it, and I was like, nah, I actually should, because I live 400 miles away from most of my friends. I should interact with them and more in general. And I came to the conclusion I should play more video games with friends. And then just through my... Okay, so I want to make sure that I say the reason the guitar one doesn't bug me and the gym one doesn't very, very much is because my time, easily the majority of my time where I'm not doing things I have to do, is spent editing for three different YouTube channels, if that makes sense. And that time, I don't think I could ever regret doing that, even at the sacrifice of going to the gym and things like that. And so anytime that I'm not editing, but I'm not going to the gym, then it's bugging me. Then I'm like, dang, I should be going to the gym right now or practicing guitar or whatever, right? But so much of my time is just spent editing that I'm like, I didn't go to the gym today, but I haven't edited today, if that makes sense. It like trumps it fully, and so I just don't feel that bad about it when I'm doing that, at least.
Dude, I just came up with a great goal for you.
Oof, I'm not going to
an immaculate one.
It's going to be the edit less or something like that.
Nope.
Okay. We'll save it for the end. Anything else you want to say about those goals?
Uh, I actually will say, even though this is not going to be entertaining to pretty much everyone, the skincare one I don't regret doing, but I'm going to dumb it down into a skincare like routine that takes even less time. Right now, like I said before, it probably takes like 5 minutes, but I'm going to spend even less time on that next year.
Yeah, you should at least
But
go
still,
through the
probably do it
next 3 days.
every day.
Like
Yeah, I still will do it every day, and I'll probably use it until I or do that routine until I use all of the product that I have. Um, but then I'll dumb it down into like a cheaper and quicker routine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I agree. Good idea. That's what you should do. You should probably do the long one for the next 3 days at least, so it's the same routine for the entire year.
That's what I just said. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Daniel, people that don't know us, people that just
Yep.
found our amazing, really well created logo on Spotify and went, Maximum Intelligence, what is that? Educational? Wow, this must be amazing. This must be some PhD professors, which, congratulations, it's even better than that. Want to know why you and I are so intelligent. Can you give them some evidence? What is one of the most intelligent things you do, or like lifestyle choices, or even personality traits, or maybe forms of logic, something about you or the things you do that make you more intelligent than most?
That's a really good question. The first thing that came to mind, which might sound obvious, but I feel like I'm always working on improving not just like me, but then like my surroundings, my circumstances, and like my lifestyle, like all the time. And whether that means like implementing like small habits, like, okay, I'm going to clear my desk every night before I go to bed, or make my bed every single time. Like as soon as I wake up, the first thing I do is make my bed. Like small things like that that are just improvements to my life. I think that's pretty intelligent. And I think more people should do that.
Call back to Jordan Peterson, who's already come up once. One of the things he's famous for saying is make your bed and clean your room. And the reason why is because of the amount of evidence there is that when your circle of control is actually under control, like when the things you can affect, like cleaning your room and doing your bed, and even on such a small scale, when those are taken care of, it ends up widening your circle of influence and the amount of things you can actually think about and affect, and your mind's clarity and how easily it can like face these new bigger problems if all of these smaller things are taken care of. There's a lot of evidence for that. And so that's very good to clean off your desk, make your bed, clean your room. And I assume you also mean large scale.
Yeah, I think some large scale things, there haven't really been a lot of like large scale habits. Maybe working out is probably the biggest one. Excuse me. But that's something also I kind of want to touch on is I've been cleaning my room and making my bed, maybe not consistently like every day since like middle school, because I don't know if I've even told you this story, but in middle school one time, I got like a really bad migraine, and I realized that having a clean room, like a perfect room, everything's organized, lined up on top of my dresser, like everything genuinely made my head feel better. And then like overall, like my entire, like I was more relaxed, which I think made me feel better. I was like less stressed, which all added to like me just feeling better overall. And that was like my go-to, like when I'm sick, I always clean my room because it like makes me feel exponentially better, even like a deeper clean than when I'm not sick, which is weird for sure.
No, that's cool. I think, I mean, you know, how they say, I'm not going to get the quote right. There's a quote that's something like, an organized house makes an organized mind, and an organized mind makes an organized house. That's basically what it's saying. It's not word for word, but the idea is when your surroundings and when the area you're spending your time in is put together and organized, it actually helps clear up your psyche and keep things, you know, less scattered or fragmented in your mind. And so that makes sense. That's cool that it's been from such a young age, though. I've also always done that. I mean, far before I knew there was any type of deeper psychology to it. I just way preferred everything having a specific place where it went and it being there before I did anything
Yep.
else. So, yeah, it's really cool. Dude, another thing that's been going on, this is totally off track, just while we're talking about cleaning rooms specifically, it seems like maybe once a month, I fill up another box of stuff I don't care about being in my room. And I didn't think there was that much stuff in my room, but it's been like 4 boxes now that I was able to fill up and just go put in like storage. And I'm like, I didn't think I had much stuff, but my room's getting more and more empty. I guess I had a lot of stuff, but
That's pretty crazy.
I had a lot of like decorative things or sentimental things or books that people had given me that I wasn't ever actually going to read, and like little things like that are just, get rid of them, you know. Do you keep cards when people write you like a birthday card or a Christmas card? Do you keep those?
I took a picture. There's a lot of things that I've completely thrown away, like not even put into like storage or anything, that I can just take a picture of and then throw it away.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, anytime there's like a sentimental thing just because of how it looks, taking a picture, throwing it away, having the picture. Way better.
Yeah, and having that organized like on my computer, because I have a like a binder. Some stuff isn't organized, but I know that like at some point I'll get around to doing it. Of like just like even stuff that I drew as like a really young kid. It's like, you know what? This might 20 years down the road, like when I have kids, be entertaining to look at. And so instead of throwing away this drawing that I did when I was 8, I'll take a picture of it and then put it in a file. And then I never have to think about it again. If I never want to look at it in my entire life, I can do that, and it doesn't take up any mental headspace.
Yeah, and you can. That's a cool thing, is you can move houses, and it's literally 0 extra calories you're burning to move that. That's really epic. The like Christmas cards and stuff like that, I literally will open them, take the money out, read them, go, oh, that's nice, and throw them away. And people have seen me do that. I'll do it in front of the people that give me the cards. It's like, I just read it. I got the message. I appreciate it. Think about it realistically. If I were to save this card, never am I going to go back and go, oh, that's so nice. Because another thing is, that's talking about me from years ago. That might not even be applicable to me anymore anyway.
I will have an argument for keeping them, though. I think things that really mean something to you can be incredibly helpful if you're ever like depressed or sad or like feeling lonely. Just having this like physical thing, or not physical, but at least being able to read something that someone wrote to you would be like, that's so nice. They definitely care about me. And being able to like remind yourself of that is important.
Okay, yeah.
But if it's also like a low effort card that's like 3 sentences, like, oh, I hope you have a great Christmas, I hope to see you soon.
No, yeah, they're usually nice. They're usually nice for sure. They I guess that is a good argument. I can see how that would help for most people.
Not you though?
I definitely don't think it could help me at all. But yeah, most people. Dude, I just want to say real quick, side note for the audio listeners that are wondering why there's been some random clinking. My microphone literally just fell apart earlier during resolutions. It just fell out of the stand. So every once in a while I gotta readjust it. All right. So
it's pretty sad.
First intelligent thing you do, always try to improve yourself, your surroundings, your circumstances.
Yep.
Very well done. Very intelligent. Do you think there's anyone who doesn't do that?
Yes.
Or at least who consciously tries not to do that? Like someone who's...
No, consciously, no. But I think there are people that either just can't get themselves to do it, that are like too lazy or depressed or whatever, or people that just don't have that mindset. And I think that is a mindset that no matter who you are, if like, because you know how like some people like, I'm a creative type. I don't care about my surrounding, and I can live in chaos and like whatever. I think to some degree, at least being able to improve your surrounding, even if you like it, because to some it's like, yo, this is cluttered and extremely chaotic and doesn't make me feel comfortable, but to them it like genuinely could. Like, you know, like Trevor Hewish's classroom. This is an art teacher that we had in high school. Mm-hmm. It's not like clean and organized. Like it actually might have been organized, but it wasn't like minimal and sleek.
The way that things are meant to be put away looks more cluttered and not minimal. And it's like, I think they feel like if it's like this lived in feel and that things are out as if they're being used right now, then they're easy to go use again, and like things like that. But
so I don't think that is inherently bad, like the style that you're going for, but the desire to improve your circumstances and surroundings, and then like small lifestyle choices that are going to like make your life better. I think that's a flaw to not have.
Yeah, I think I would agree also. I think people, it's not a trivial thing. I think people think that my room being clean, that's realistically not going to affect anything. Mm-hmm. Where they go, oh, there's psychology for it, and that's probably for most, and I feel like it wouldn't affect me, but it does.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great one. I like it.
What about you?
For me, I think one thing that I have found I think one of my traits that I think I found in the least amount of people that I've ever met, if anyone, is that it's very, I grew up with I don't know who specifically like instilled this in me, but I've got some weird attachment to the principle of always questioning everything, if that makes sense. No matter how I was raised. I was raised religiously. I was raised mostly Mormon and partially Christian, which, yeah, we're talking about Utah and stuff. It's probably no surprise I was raised Mormon. But I've fallen away from that greatly, and I feel like I have this weird just like connection with making sure that I never fully submit myself to any like I don't know what you would call it, list of principles or set of beliefs or way of living, if that makes sense, no matter how accurate it seems or how much evidence it seems like that's the best way to go. I feel like if I find myself going, yeah, this is the best thing to do, this is obviously what is true or whatever, and not even how to live, it's more also like a list of specific beliefs, like either with faith or with even like an example would be like the Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey's this money guy that has this whole list of the best way to live with your money. Anytime I find something like that, I feel like I'll always hit a point where I go, oof, I've started realizing that I'm not still questioning this. I've kind of fully submitted to it. And so now I have an urge to immediately fall away from it or start trying to intentionally go against it, if that makes sense. And I think it has been bad in some parts of my life. There has been points where it actually caused negative things to happen, but I feel like there is a major benefit to that trait in general, that I can't become like close-handed with anything, if that makes sense. Close-handed versus open-handed beliefs, where they have open-handed would be a belief where it has the potential to change or be influenced, and that obviously with more evidence or whatever you could change my mind about that thing. And close-handed would be no matter what, that's locked in. And I definitely am proud to say that I have 0 close-handed beliefs. And I think that's I view that as a trait. I think a lot of people, especially religious kind, would say that that's maybe not a good trait. You know, of course you should be close-handed in some things, 1 or 2 things. You know what I mean? But I think that's what I'm going to list as my intelligent trait, just because I highly, highly, highly value that principle. So, yeah. I'll also say I still feel like I have yours, the one you listed. I feel like I've always been seeking to like improve myself, improve my surroundings, improve my surroundings. I don't think I really have, like, I guess like my bedroom, I'm not constantly like, how can I make this a little bit better? You know what I mean? I feel like I've gotten to a point where it's sufficiently like decorated and cleaned up and organized to where I feel like I can do everything else. I could improve it. Like, I know I could do some improvements like that. I don't have a very strong drive to, but at least improving myself, I don't think I'll ever, I mean, I know I'll never hit a point where I'm like, all right, this area of my life, done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. Me and you have had lots of conversations about your like tendency to question things, and I feel like the only things that I would really add to that is I think even in the past, I think I've said this to you once, like with close-handed beliefs, because I definitely do have close-handed beliefs. but it's not like it would be impossible to change. It's something that I've used the analogy to stay with it close-handed, that you'd have to pry my hand open, and in this case with facts and logic, to get me to change my belief. Whereas an open-handed belief, in my mind, is something I don't even really care to hold on to this. So if you come in, this is what I lean towards, and I'm totally like almost wanting someone to come and grab this belief and throw it on the ground, like whatever. Like that's why I'm open-handed. I think where it leads into a problem with questioning, because I think questioning and trying to search for truth is an objective benefit, but when it leads to a lack of faith in any given topic that you choose to believe, I think that's when it becomes a detriment to your lifestyle.
Wait, when it leads to you believing something less?
So getting to the point where you are not able to say, this is what I believe, then that is when it's hard.
So you have to have a belief set, is what you mean?
I believe that. Yeah, I think that you should have close-handed beliefs. And this is coming from a religious person, but even I've said this about non-religious people, because there are non-religious people like atheists that still don't have close-handed beliefs, which is crazy. And I think a wrong way to live your life, because that gets to the point where you don't know what is governing your life and you're not living for any specific goal in mind. And when you're constantly changing up your beliefs, it doesn't really seem like you've had a firm set of beliefs to begin with. Because when it takes almost nothing to change your belief, or one, like, I'm kind of going to take a dig at you, and I'm not even saying this is like a real thing, but if all it takes is an hour-long video from Jordan Peterson to change your belief, then I don't think that you ever had a strong belief to begin with. So I think that's as a whole, I think it's good to be able to strongly hold on to something, but still search for truth. Because, for example, let's just say in a world where Jordan Peterson could persuade me that Christianity isn't the right way, it would take so much time. It would probably be a multi-month process for me to fall away from that belief.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't think it would be impossible for me to believe that if consistently I could not prove what he's saying wrong, right? Like, let's just say, like, in that world. But because I've chosen to stick to a belief, it takes much longer, and I have to get so persuaded out of a belief.
Okay, so
because you have a firm foundation.
Okay, so under those guidelines, and with the new, like, the definition of close-handed being, you could still pry your fingers open and change it, but it would take a lot more time. Then I'll say the closest thing I have to a close-handed belief, and I'll say this is a close-handed belief based on that definition, right? That I definitely think the closest thing I have to a close-handed belief would be that there are principles that are a principle being something that is true in every situation, right? At any time for any person, that I think there are principles that are the best way to live your life by. Does that make sense? Obviously under a certain definition of best, right? And that those principles are, and I'm going to admit, the place I feel like I learned how to articulate this best, like I still had this belief, but in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, at one point he disproves why all of these different ways to live your life have flaws. Like, one is, some people live their life specifically to, like, appease their spouse, and then he finds flaws where that could go wrong. And then some people live their life by what would be best for their kids, only that, and he finds examples where even that could go wrong. And some people, he even disproves why following some specific religion or a specific church, that's probably the closest but not the number one thing. Like, he finds ways where that could go wrong, right? Where a church could do something, and if the followers are so devoted to that church, of course they would do something wrong, right? But the number one that can't go wrong is if you're building your ethics and your choices off of principles, because principles are unchanging, and because principles are that it can't become a principle unless it's true in every situation. that is the biggest thing you should live your life by. So I would say that is my biggest close-handed belief, is that these principles exist, and I'm pretty sure I know what a lot of them are. I know there's more I haven't learned, and I know that what they are probably subject to change as I learn more about them in general, right? And I live life. But
so
yeah,
I kind of want to
my closest thing.
I want to ask you about the religious thing, is because so by definition, I don't really subscribe myself to a religion.
Yep.
I think I subscribe myself to a relationship with God. I say that I'm a religious person and I believe in a religion to make that clear to people, because that's the easiest way to understand.
Yep.
But Christianity as a whole, to me, means being like Christ, which in my mind, I don't think you can disprove how that would be not a principle, right? Like following a religion, if you follow a church or a religion that is a following of like a government made by people, like like Catholics or something like that, then I do agree with what you're saying. But if it's
but for you to say I'm fully devoted to living like Christ and trying to live like him, I believe that Christ embodies what everyone's peak ideal for a human is. Does that make sense? So,
right. Okay. Yeah.
But that's with this list of principles. That's someone who is strong and honest and good and, helps other people. All of the things that Christ embodies, and even the idea of someone like that, is those list of principles. And so it's the same thing, I feel like, that we're saying. It's just different, totally different, like, angles of looking at it, ways of wording it.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, is that the Bible to me is a principle to live your life by.
Yeah, and it teaches lots of different principles.
I would, as a quote unquote religious person, I would wholeheartedly believe that you should not fully live your life dedicated to a quote unquote religion. If there's any humans governing a religion, I don't think it's worth dedicating your whole life to. Because I've moved churches, I have technically left denominations before, and in search of getting closer to God, which is like, that's what I believe in. I don't believe in any specific person as a leader. Well, that's a weird statement. In context, that makes sense. Out of context, that does not make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Well, yeah. Anyway, I just feel like I had a discussion with someone recently about how it's funny how everyone can be everyone kind of knows how being too absorbed in a list of beliefs can go wrong. Like, it's pretty obvious, right? Like being totally enveloped in like Mormonism, for example, or Nazism, or any list of like a way to live, how it can go wrong, because if the leaders change what's going on or what the values are, or if they go, okay, now this is legal or whatever it is, that can obviously go wrong, right? But I don't think anyone can see how the opposite of being totally open-minded, to where you can't even, like, I'm not saying I'm like this, I'm saying what would be the opposite of being totally absorbed in a belief system? What if you were someone who was 100% so open-minded is the wrong word for it, but like if you could not get committed to any list of beliefs, if you could not, like, no matter what you learned, if you were just like, yeah, I could be right, I don't know, but I don't know if it's right or not.
Because you have to also realize that what you're saying is a belief system. You've chosen a belief system that is still a belief system and a way of living your life that is basically your religion is questioning everything.
That's a good point.
It's the same thing as me subscribing to believing in everything that the Bible says. You've also said, I'm going to not believe everything wholeheartedly. It's the same form.
Yeah, you're right. That actually makes total sense, and you fully answered the question.
Hey, Maximum Intelligence Podcast, baby. Let's go.
When you said that, it reminded me, this is going to sound really gay, it reminded me that during the conversation I had with the other person that came up, and I went, oh, yeah, that is the case. And then I just didn't remember that happened until you said that, and I went, oh, yep.
Who is this conversation with?
That conversation was with my dad. And that is what he said too, and I just didn't remember that.
It's like, yeah, that's a good point. It's really easy because everyone has a way of living their life, and so it's interesting because I feel like the only flaw, because this does. Okay, so let's just say there's a person in our friend group that doesn't believe in anything and then doesn't care to find out what they should believe in,
Yeah.
right? And I think even though that is a way of believing that their beliefs don't matter, I would argue that's probably the only wrong belief. Like objectively,
don't matter.
is that beliefs don't matter. Does that make sense? Because even your way of thinking of it could be wrong, could be right, that is a belief system. And my religion is a belief system. And Hinduism is a belief system, and Buddhism, and whatever, so on and so forth. But I think believing that your beliefs don't matter, that's probably the only wrong one.
Well, that's getting close to like nihilism, which is a big
of
belief
nothing
system
that matters.
that currently
absolutely.
a lot of people identify with, which is cringe.
Yep.
But I think a weird way to word it is nihilism. I think one way of looking at life is that nothing matters, nothing you do matters or believe matters, because in a million years, what difference is it going to make? Even the people who have made the biggest differences in a million years, it really doesn't matter. There will have been people that have outdone you. There will have been people that no one will ever remember what you did. You know what I mean? Like a million years, nothing you do will matter. And so it's
a weird argument.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. So what that does is you go, okay, so if nothing I do matters, the good part about that is that you have no responsibility. There's nothing you do matters, so you can kind of do whatever you want because you're already done. Like if nothing you do matters, you sitting in that chair right now, you're done. There's no goals. There's no point in having any goals. It's easy, and you don't have to have any responsibility. But an alternative perspective is that everything you do matters, because everything you do is affecting reality, and it's affecting other people's experience of existing, right?
Yeah.
Even the tiniest things you do that seem insignificant matter in some way, right? Whether it's even if it's just being an example to someone else or whatever it is. And the problem with that belief is that it then gives an insane amount of responsibility, right? Like then now you're entrusted with everything. Like that gets to the point where if you don't do your very, very, very best in every facet of life, then in places where you didn't do your best, that's replaced with something worse, and that's on you. Does that make sense? Like you're affecting reality in a worse way, and it's your fault. And so then that adds an extreme amount of responsibility. But what you gain from that is meaning, because you lose meaning entirely with the other.
I think you do gain meaning, but I think it's also because I'm pretty sure I've heard Jordan Peterson talk about this, of like that crushing weight of responsibility, but then being able to take on responsibility is the only thing that matters in life, and it's going to give you meaning, right?
Well, yeah.
That's basically the argument summed up.
He thinks that you get meaning from accepting responsibility.
Yeah, which I could also make an argument. I think that is a pretty good way of looking at it. But I think if you take a look at, I don't know, I think it's interesting to parallel that to a Christian belief where they would also say that you have a responsibility to do things in like a Christ-like way, right? Mm-hmm. But then the responsibility part doesn't become a concern, even though it is a concern, but the failure doesn't become a crushing thing to Christians because we know that we have grace.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like that's the easiest answer to me, because if I didn't have that belief system where I know that grace was freely given to me, then it would be like this crushing, intense thing that the only thing that matters, like while you were talking about it, even like the nihilism thing, it's so easy for me to like make an argument, I feel like, that says the human experience is what matters. Yours matters, the person right next to you matters, and that's the only thing that matters. And what you do is going to affect another person's human experience, even if it doesn't, like, let's say it doesn't really make an impact on a person a million years from now, but if it makes a very, very stark impact on your spouse or your child or something like that, because that person a million years from now their human experience is just as important and valuable as someone that's living today, and just as valuable as someone that lived 6,000 years ago.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's interesting hearing it contrasted with a Christian perspective, because of course I hadn't heard that, and I don't think, like, I didn't compare it to that in my own mind, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that is something that I've talked about with people, because it's very common, like in the Christian church, to hear these examples of like why we should be evangelizing is because what if that person was to die tomorrow, right? And they're not Christian, so you should go and tell people about Christ, which I agree with. But then on the opposite hand of it, that becomes a very crushing thing until you realize that there's grace for everything. So even you messing up, there's grace for that. And that person had so many other chances to hear about Christ. Because I don't also believe in like that people might get one chance. I think your entire life has small opportunities for you to find truth.
Yeah, it's interesting. It definitely leaves either way, it's definitely important to make sure that you're doing stuff, that you do not just sit as if nothing matters, that you do try and you do attempt and you do actually move towards something, you know.
Yep.
So, the another conversation I was having with someone else at one point that was interesting is he's in a job that he doesn't like. Actually, he does kind of like it, but he doesn't like where he lives, and he doesn't have any future aspirations. His only knowledge of the future is that maybe he'll move up in his job, but other than that, he doesn't want to go to college, and he's kind of depressed about where he is and who he spends his time with, doesn't have many friends, all this stuff, right? And so I was thinking that the best advice to give someone like that is to shoot for something different as far as anything in general, right? Like if you're sad in almost every aspect of your life, obviously changing something, right? But he doesn't know what to change. And my advice is start with either career, like shoot for a different career, even if it's something tiny, like become a Starbucks barista. And it might sound stupid, but I think the act of shooting for something, it's not even what you're shooting for, it's the act of changing something in your life it builds you at least somewhat, because you've had new experiences, or you've moved from where you are and now you have a different perspective looking back, and all of these different things actually build you just to do something different.
Yeah.
Maybe another one I said is moving place. Maybe you stay in the same career, but you move to a different city. And it's the same exact thing, is that you have no idea. Experiences will open themselves up just from change alone. And that waiting for something different, I feel like that's a thing that way too many people do. Like, to bring up our friend group again, I think we have people in our friend group who aren't happy with where they are, but they're not changing anything. And it's almost like they've got this weird sense that something's going to happen. Like, they're waiting for some specific...
I think that's a super common thing, I think, just in people in general. I think that's... Yeah, it's that NPC mentality, dude.
Yeah, I think you become...
Honestly.
You hit a point where you realize that you're like... Or maybe you never realize this, but you become a 40-year-old, 13-year-old, where you've literally only had the experiences of a 13-year-old. Yeah. You only have the knowledge and the, experiences of a 13-year-old, but you're 40 years old, and some opportunity... And the problem with that is you're so dumb by that point that if the perfect opportunity were to present itself, you would be too dumb to even recognize it as an opportunity worth taking. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So
I think... So also playing devil's advocate, even with this, to some extent, waiting for something to happen does work. And I know that might sound dumb,
well, I'm not saying
but I don't
is bad.
No, I'm just saying, I think the analogy of 13-year-old to 40-year-old is a weird one, because it's like your life is obviously going to be different. I think even if all of the people in the squad stayed in the same career, the same place, the same friend group, I think at one point or another, things will happen to them that there's a good chance that they'll find someone that they start dating, even if it's 10, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. I think there's a good chance that some friends will leave their life and some friends will join their life. I think it's interesting, but I do agree that if you are feeling like you're in a rut right now, slightly changing stuff or getting into something new, like I was thinking of, um, let's just say someone was stuck. One thing that I could recommend to anyone is saying, let's get really into fitness, and not even just doing fitness like at your home or something, but like go out, buy a gym membership. Like, this is like my piece of advice to anyone that feels stuck in their life that's not already doing this is get a gym membership and go do that every single day. Because there's a list of things that will improve is discipline, your health, your energy levels, and it'll eventually lead into different social circles. You'll start meeting people at that gym. If you're there every single day, you'll start finding more common interests with random people that you would have never had a common interest with. It will broaden your horizon a lot in your like sphere of influence a lot just by getting into that one thing. And I think that's an example that I choose because it has the other host of benefits of discipline, health, so on and so forth. All of the many, many things that exercise helps with.
Yeah, I think a huge piece of like, I guess, a big study that I think more people should know about, because I think it's the top motivator for me to ever go to the gym, is that there's this weird thing that happens where as soon as someone starts going to the gym, within the first week or two, other aspects of their life, seemingly unrelated to physical fitness or going to the gym, things like their career or their job or their relationships with people or their progress in different hobbies they have, start improving and start putting more effort into them just because they started going to the gym. And I think it's because going to the gym and doing fitness is this weird part of life, unlike a lot of others, where you have to put in an immense amount of effort without seeing any results for a long time. You know what I mean? And that to even do that, to put on gym clothes and drive to the gym, is your mind basically going, I'm going to put in a lot of effort for something I'm not going to be able to see in a long time, may not be able to see, like I'm not going to be able to see this at all unless I do this for a long time. And that builds some level of self-discipline or motivation to where when they get back home, they go, all right, what was that other thing? Oh, I've been wanting to practice this instrument. Or, oh, I should do this paper at work early, and turn it in early so I have more free time. And basically just their self-discipline in general is increased and it's better. And so I think if people knew, like, if they're, depressed or in a rut and they go, wait a second, I'm just going to go to the gym, just focus on that. Then they'll get home and realize in a couple weeks, they'll go, dang, like I was only going to go to the gym, but now I'm studying this other language, or now I'm reading books and I wasn't reading books before, or now, all this other things start changing. And I've seen that happen in my own life during periods where I went to the gym all the time. Like those are the times where I picked up multiple hobbies, that I don't have right now. And it's just a weird thing that happens. It's really cool.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video maybe like 2 months ago of a habit tier list someone did. They were just like, this is a tier list. Yeah. And I think at the top they did exercise, and I think for really good reason. Like I think if the tier list that you made went up to S, I think the only S plus tier, this besides from me talking about like religious things, I think the only S plus thing is exercising, because it's insane. That is the one habit that I think if every single person in the world said, I'm going to do this, I think 100% of the time their life would improve. Unless it's like some freak accident, like, oh, they died at the gym.
Yeah,
well,
of course.
that sucks. But that is like the catch-all for habits of do this, your life at the end of the year will be better.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, it will be better than if you didn't do it. Because, like, let's say the same circumstances happen. Like, if this bad thing happened, at least it would be handled better because you went to the gym. It would be not as bad of a life at the end of the year than if you went to the gym.
Yeah, and for people listening, obviously Daniel doesn't just mean it's going to be better because you're stronger or because you burned calories. It's going to be better in the other aspects of your life as well. Aspects where more self-discipline could improve them. Oh, I started cooking my own meals, and they're healthier now, little
Yep.
things like that, it's going to affect all
Yeah.
of that.
I think the thing that I will say personally, my favorite aspect of it is having more energy, like legitimately, because that's what it feels like. It doesn't even feel like I'm more disciplined and I can get myself to do things.
You just have
It's
more energy.
I have more energy and I'm willing to go cook. Like that doesn't even seem like this pressing thing. Like, I have to go cook a full meal. It's
Well,
like,
because you have more
okay,
energy, it feels like it's taking less energy because
yeah,
the ratio, it is taking less energy, less of a
hmm
ratio. So
yeah, and that is like the craziest thing. Like there was like 2 nights ago, I had woken up at like 4 in the morning maybe, uh, and then at night when I was like going to bed, I was like full of energy, which like for so many people alive today, this was at like 10 o'clock at night. That's like a crazy thing. Most people do not experience
especially
that.
for
And
what
like,
time you wake up. Don't you wake up at like 6 or 5?
yeah, so like that's that specific day. I said I like woke up at like 4, but then I ended the day with energy, and then I went to bed.
Yeah,
Crazy.
crazy. Oh, that's another
It's
thing is
wild.
you can go to sleep easier. I've noticed when
Hmm.
people might think like, oh, if I go work out at the gym, I'm gonna be too tired and all this stuff. But having a section of the day where your heart rate went up and it burned all this energy, and then you come home. Obviously, there could be sections where you kind of rejuvenated if you ate and relaxed for a while or whatever. But going to sleep has always been easier if it was a day where I went to the gym. Not just because I'm more tired, but there was something about
Hmm.
burning all that energy off that obviously made it easy. So,
Yeah,
yeah. All right. Want to do resolutions for this year?
I think we should do resolutions, and
Okay.
then, yeah,
I'm
let's
gonna.
go back and forth. Then let's do. I'll do one for myself. You do one for yourself until we get to 3, and then we'll make resolutions for one another.
All right.
Okay, I have to think about this for a second. Um,
I was thinking about what one of mine should be earlier, so I know at least one of mine. Actually, I'm gonna say I know two of them.
okay, I think I got all 3 of mine.
All right, you go first.
My first one, and because I started my other one with a goal that was for every single day, uh, my goal for this next year for every single day, actually, I will say at least every single day that I go to work, because I have a specific plan on how I'm doing this. Every single day that I go to work, and naturally it will happen more, but read the Bible or consume some of the Bible, like through audio or reading, but just the Bible, not even just listening to like a sermon or whatever, but consuming raw Bible.
And is that listening or reading?
Yeah, listening or reading.
Okay. All right, I'll say my top one, just because I feel like it's more. It's a money one, but because I wanted it to be more specific than stick to budget,
Mm-hmm.
I want to save. Just add to my savings account exactly at minimum $30,000 this year. I want to save $30,000 this year. I feel
Dang.
like that's reasonable. It's less than half.
Dude, you
my
can do that the
income.
first month, bro. I know how much you make. Dude, this guy, he's so successful. He makes at least $1 million every year. It's unbelievable.
Well, minimum, yeah. That's just for my
Yeah.
investments. Like when I work and when I actually go to my rental properties and all of that, then yeah, it can get over 2 or 3.
Yeah. Do you think you could even do it the first week of the year?
30,000.
Hit that goal?
If I closed on this big deal that we're working on right now, I probably could, but I'm not sure if that'll happen this week. There's all this corporate
That's fair.
crap that's happening and slowing everything down.
Yeah.
Those group calls. Our
Yeah.
connection's been really spotty during the conference meetings, and so it's been kind of.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that if everyone that you're having these conferences with, if everyone worked out, do you think they would close deals faster?
Ooh, absolutely. They would have more energy.
Right?
Yeah, you get some of these people on there. 20 people are on there, and this one guy that we're all waiting for his paper on it, and he's just sitting there like, I'm sorry, I had to rush and do this last night. My kids, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude.
If you worked out.
Early. If you worked out,
like,
you would
come
have
on.
done this earlier. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. That's a really good goal, though. $30,000. That's dope.
30,000 specific.
All right. My second one is be able to play a full song on the guitar by the end of the year.
That's your goal?
Yep.
What the heck? You've never touched an instrument, have you?
Yeah. I've played a full song on the guitar before, and I've played a full song on the piano before.
So you have to learn a new song then? You can't just
Yeah.
play. Okay.
Yeah, but that was in high school, and that was basically we spent an entire semester learning that one thing.
Well, is that I know, but does it count if you sit and do hot cross buns once, then you've learned a song on guitar? Like how
I don't know
complicated
what
is it?
Haas Cross. It's just
Like
a full length song. I'm not saying like a yeah, like I can't just learn like a chorus that I could play over and or like yeah, or like four chords that I could play one chord, two chord, three chord, four chord, one chord, two chord, three, four. Like yeah, whatever. I'm saying being able to play the full song.
okay, all right.
Yeah, bet you didn't expect that, my guy.
I did not expect that at all. You've never sounded interested in playing music.
Yep.
Second goal of mine, I'm gonna do, go to the gym 5 days a week. Exactly the same goal as I did last year.
It's a good one. Yo, I had my last goal, but then I literally.
Actually, no.
Oh yeah, I remember it. I remember it. Okay, my last goal is to win this bet. I don't care about how many times I have to go to the gym, or even if I go to the gym afterwards, which sounds beta. But my goal is to
to
win the
become
$500 bet. Yep.
Wait, afterwards? Are you saying even after the deadline of the bet, you want to still make sure you become ripped?
No, what I'm saying is I don't care. The goal that I'm setting is that I have to win the bet.
Okay.
And then
So-
nothing else. Even if magically the day before the bet, I just got ripped, I won the bet, and then never worked out again, I would still satisfy my goal. Obviously, that's not going to happen because I need to go do stuff. But my goal is that I win the bet.
Yeah. So just to be clear, Daniel brought it up earlier. The bet is for him to become what I would call ripped by my standards.
Nope,
So-
it's mine. Remember, it's honor code. So it's the mental image that I have in my head.
Of ripped? I thought it was by the other person's standards this entire
Nope,
time.
because we're doing honor code of this is it. I think
it was
you'll
honor code.
also agree, but remember, because it's if you have this certain thing of like 0.2% body fat, that's your image. But then my image is Calvin Harris and Superman. That's insanely ripped, but clearly doesn't have that low of a body fat. Like, yeah.
I knew it was honor code, but I thought it was by the other person's. I thought I had to be ripped by your standards, and you had to be ripped by my standards. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, though. But
I don't think so. At least that's never what my goal was. Because
Okay.
basically the reason that I said honor code is that I was the one that was saying it for myself. Because for you to say it, that doesn't even mean honor code. Like that's I guess like kind of it makes sense for you to not like cheap out and be like whatever. Like I don't think you're ripped because you don't want to
this
pay
whole time,
500.
Yeah, I've thought it was by, even though I don't want to pay 500, it's genuinely me looking at you. Like if I saw you walk past in a restaurant, describe that guy's body, I'd go, he's ripped. Like if that would happen, right? So my bad, whatever. Got it wrong. Don't remember right or something.
I think it'll get to the point that if either of us were to win, we would both agree.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm saying this because I have the option to override what you're saying and be like, no, I am ripped.
What if you rewatched the video of us making the bet? If we had said by the other person's standards, would you change what you're saying right now?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then my third goal.
It's not a close-handed belief. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know what my third goal should be, bruh. I have.
You got to come up
the
with
biggest things. I know the biggest things I think about on a daily basis are our YouTube channels.
You could do something all cutesy of like, make my girlfriend happy.
Make a casserole for my girlfriend.
Ooh.
No, that's not gonna be it. I don't want to cook. I definitely want to avoid cooking.
That's gonna be one of my goals for you then.
Fudge. Dude. Let's how about you do goals for me, and it might give me an idea for my third goal.
I think you should come up with it first, but I'll give you some ideas of what you could base it off of. Is something with flop slap, something with friends, something with your girlfriend, something with your siblings, something with your mom, something with your living situation, something with knowledge, something that you want to learn or do.
That's a good one. this in the next year, I'm going to be moving to Logan, Utah. I'm going to be starting college. I've started college before, but I'm going to be starting college again after like a year of not doing college, right? Those are kind of the only like known big changes I think in my life.
Yeah. So you could say complete a full semester of college because that'll be done by the next year.
Yeah, but that's like a default thing. That'd be like
I don't think it is. Because, I mean, considering your past track record, I don't think that's a guarantee.
Wait, of course.
Gonna be honest.
What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm just saying. I think there's a chance that you'll get into it and be like,
that's weird.
Oh, I didn't like it.
I definitely don't think that would happen. That's not even what happened last time. I didn't go, I don't like this. I totally just changed my goal for when I was doing college. I just went,
right. And I think that it's not off-brand for that to happen again. But that's my opinion, and I could be wrong. Also not a close-handed belief.
All right. Weird. Really weird perspective Daniel's got of me. Very inaccurate, but sure. I'm going to say my next goal is to... Here's one thing I'm really proud of last year that definitely made me fail my other goals was I have still successfully been 2 years now as of this week, the week that this comes out. I have successfully for 2 years straight made a video, at least one video every single week, put it on YouTube. Fully recorded and edited a video every week for 2 years straight. And then had a few side videos extra, probably 10 extra videos besides that. And it's been hard. I'm not going to say it's been easy.
That is a crazy accomplishment.
It is yeah, that's the biggest thing I think I'm most proud of. I feel like that's a big accomplishment, and I really like everything about it. So I kind of do want to have my next goal have something to do with that. There being now 3 channels, this podcast is adding a video a week, another video a week. That'll be 2 videos a week. That's got to be created now. So I'll say my goal. Oh, by the way, I didn't even remember this. In our last video, there was also 3 goals for that year for that YouTube channel. We didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was a subscriber goal that we did not hit.
Because was it 100 or was it 1,000?
It was either 100 or 120 after 1 year. I kind of think it was 120. Because at the time of making that video, we were at like 52, and I was trying to go a little over double. So I think I said 120. We're at 95 right now, so we did not get there. The highest we've been this year was 99. So still never hit 100. But so I'll hurry and create 25 more accounts after this video.
Hit 120 before the New Year's. Yeah. That's dope. So do you think your resolution then is publishing 2 videos every week?
Yeah, but I kind of feel like because I already prioritize that above like everything else, that it's almost like another default. Maybe that's the only thing that could change my college goal. Just kidding. That college would be higher priority than my YouTube channels. So that's actually something that could happen is I don't release a video every week next year. I
think it's going to be much harder for you to balance having a girlfriend, having your job, taking care of all of your siblings and stuff, publishing videos, and going to school. Because are you planning on going to school full time?
No.
Like, do you know how many classes you're taking?
I want to do part-time, like half-time somewhere.
So that's 2? I mean 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3. That's been my goal. Even if I didn't have this job and like even didn't have a YouTube channel, I'd probably only take 3. Just to do it without any debt. And I've always wanted to work during college too, so I want to make sure I do that. For whatever reason, if I lost this job or something in the next year, I would definitely get another job as quickly as possible to do during college because it's always been a goal of mine to do that. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say read at least 12 books. I'm gonna start very low. I'm gonna do a book a month.
I think that's a great one.
See if we can do that.
Yeah, and I like that you said 12 books in the year and not. I would steer away from doing a book a month.
Oh, really?
But
it doesn't have to be exactly a book a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 in the whole year. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, those are my 3 goals. What is a goal you have for me?
So I've thought of, well, I'll just say the first one is bake a casserole for me. Bake a bomb casserole for me.
Dang, I didn't even know it was called baking a casserole.
Or making. You do bake casseroles, so.
Okay. What counts as baking? When it's in the oven?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do, for a goal for you, I'm going to say for at least 2 months, or 1 month, at least once during this year, I want you to try to do a budget where you estimate how much you're going to make, and then you divide it up into categories, like have every dollar know exactly specifically where it's going to go before you get that money.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
live by that. And then once you get the money, only spend that much. And then obviously if you have leftover, your choice. But that is one experience that I think is unique that very few people have done.
So that is at least 2 months?
No, at least once. At least once.
Oh, at least once. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. That's a really, really good goal. This one kind of has a question attached to it. So first, I need to ask you, how much right now, so this is including time that you take to record gaming videos with friends. How much time do you play video games with friends? Like, let's just say a month.
With friends, including recording? In a whole month?
Because so 60 hours a year is 5 hours a month. So do you think you put 60 hours a year into playing video games with friends? This is just in general playing any video games with friends. This is like a private thing with Davin.
Yeah, I'm
gonna recording.
I'm gonna estimate like 6 hours a month, or maybe 7 hours. 7 hours, I'm gonna say, something like that. It's hard to average it out because like I'll go a whole month without playing with them, But then if there's some game we find, I might do it for a while.
And you're like, whoa, so I'm gonna play Minecraft all day. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna guess like 7 hours a month, including recording time. Why? Are you making it a specific number?
So I'm just going to up that. I think that during the course of 2021, and this is kind of just estimating because I don't think you should track it, but that at the end of this year that you think on average you've spent 10 hours a month playing video games with friends. Even if that, I would say, and not the entirety of that cannot just be recorded content.
None of that can be?
No, not the entirety of it. Oh. So there has to be sometimes. I'll say, yeah.
I wouldn't want that to be the entirety because I've also discovered an issue I didn't expect of recording too much, and that bogs down my whole process quite a bit. Right now I have 9 videos that are recorded that aren't edited, right? Just in gaming, not even in the live action channel, and something about having all of this footage extra to edit, to release, is actually a deterrent, and I thought that it wouldn't matter how much I had, right? And it does actually slow down the whole process, so I wouldn't want all of that to be recording on me. It'd be way too much, obviously to have recorded, so that won't be an issue.
Okay. Cool.
Another goal for you, see, that was the only one I thought of again. So now I'm going to have another issue thinking of another goal. Let me think. Okay. Daniel, as a person, what are areas of his life I want him to improve? That's kind of what I'm
so many, dude. There's too many to count.
There's actually less than you think that I think you should improve.
That's
You're
impressive.
Doing really good with fitness. Very, very good. I wouldn't want to add anything. I think you're doing a great job. Doing great with diet, all of that. And then the money thing was the only thing I feel like that I think you would actually get a benefit out of if you got used to like tracking the money in that way. So that's why I did the last one.
So I don't want to like give you ideas, but it could be related to my job. It could be related to how I make money. It could be related to me getting bored of stuff. It could be related to me being a beta in whatever way. Or not having a girlfriend, that's beta.
Ooh,
Uh,
I actually like. Yeah, I'm gonna do. I kind of secretly have this belief that I know you disagree with. That I still.
mhm.
It's not really a secret, I guess. It's. I think that without dating experience, like pretty like having serious relationships and then no longer having them, I think you get and learn things that are major benefits to future relationships. And I think if your goal is to, I know this isn't your goal, but I think if you have a goal that's something like, I really want to date someone and hope that that is the person I marry, and that I, you know, I don't know what I'm saying. I guess I feel like you're too, like you don't date people just because you can tell, you feel like you weed them out so quickly, if that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
Like you weed people out and don't even give them a chance as far as like dating them, that I feel like it would be okay to, I got to be careful with this sentence. I was about to say okay to date someone knowing you're not going to be with them forever, but I don't actually know if I think that. I guess my goal is maybe
Your
it's
goal
to
could be
lower your
contingent on
standards on who you
stuff like
date,
okay.
right? Lower your standards on who you date, so just date more. But that doesn't mean to lower your standards on who you're going to marry. Of course not, right? It's just at least get some more dating experience before you start having these really stringent guidelines for what like borders or boundaries for what a girl has to be before you date her, right? So just get more dating experience. I'm going to say this year, go on 3 dates. Doesn't have to have 3 different girlfriends, but go on 3 dates with 3 different people specifically.
3 different people. Wow, that's a tall order, actually.
You think that's a tall order in 1 year?
Yeah. I mean, what I would define as a date, because like there have been times where I'll go do something one on one with a girl, but I don't consider it a date. So I don't know. I think that's why it's a tall order. Because I mean, the amount of times that I've been on a date, I've maybe been on one date in my entire life. That being said, I've done a lot of things that I would
With
say is
girls
almost like a
one-on-one.
precursor to a date.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean
yeah.
like, if this year you got in this attitude of, okay, I'm dating around, right? Like I'm like basically trying to find a significant other, dating people. That if you were to go on a date with someone, let's say Fern, for example, one of the girls you were
Mhm.
doing a photo shoot with, if you were to say, hey, I know this person specifically, you might not do this. I'm just using her as an example. If you were to say, hey, I want to go on an actual date, like let's go, whatever, dinner and a movie or whatever. It's an actual date and it's just talk, hang out, get to know you, whatever. And then after the date, you were to go, cool, that's awesome. And then with someone else, maybe someone at church, you go, hey, I'm dating around. You've always been interesting. I want to get to know you better. Would you go on a date with me? You know what I mean? That would still count. You don't have to be the type that's like, oh, I just went on a date with so-and-so, so I can't date anyone else. Does that make sense?
Right.
So, yeah, 3 different dates in a year. You could wait
Okay.
4 months between them if you want.
It's true. Good. I think it's a good goal. I don't.
It's a lot of cool
I think.
experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a good goal is something I don't know if I agree with it as being a good goal, but I think it's a good idea that you came up with.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's genuinely a massive self-improvement thing. Like it builds you as a person incredibly. Like not only with social skill.
This is the only reason I disagree with is because I think me and you might have different views of what a date is. Because if you're saying that, hey, you should go get dinner one-on-one with a girl to get to know them better, then that's not like crazy.
Well, I think
But for me to call it a date is a big deal.
So you're saying if you're calling it a date, you're trying to tell them you are a potential for someone I would marry. Is that what you're thinking?
Or I want to pursue you and get to know you because you are the type of person that I would marry.
Yeah, the only thing that is different to me with dinner one-on-one with a girl or becoming a date is that she knows that you are with the mindset that you are doing this with the potential in the future to her being your significant other. Like there is potential of that, and that this is part of the weeding her out process. Like if she knows that, that's kind of what I mean is a date. If she knows that this is you weeding her out as a future potential SO. That's what I mean.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Uh, all right. My hmm. I hope this one. I'm gonna try to make this one kind of just fun, but I hope that this year you find and listen to more new artists, new genres, and better music in general. Like that you brought in what you're interested in or things that you like
Okay,
more.
I think you would not have set that as a goal if you've known how much I've done that in the last year.
I already know how much. Yeah, we
Oh,
talked
okay.
about this, but
Okay.
I want that to be a continued trend and something that is set as a goal and like intentional of like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna listen to my Spotify daily mix. Ooh, also on that, this is I'm pairing it together. I'm choosing four goals for you, or this
Spotify.
one's combined.
That's what you're
Spotify.
saying.
You got to get Spotify.
Okay. The only reason I haven't is it's just I 100% agree it's better and I do want to. There's literally nothing that's stopping me. It's just I haven't taken the probably what it would take 5 minutes to
Yeah,
move
we can
myself
even
into
do it
that
after this
state.
podcast ends. Let's set you up as a family plan. Let's get a family plan and let's get you on it, Trinity on it, your mom on it, maybe even Ethan, maybe Ethan's siblings or your siblings. Let's get all like 6 spots used.
Yeah, for
And then
those who
it's
don't
only
know,
$15 a month, dude.
yeah, for
Crazy.
those who don't know, I'm notorious for mainly listening to 1980s music, both rock and pop, and
He actually listens to
mostly nothing else.
1880s music. It's
I
crazy.
also listen to 1880s music. No, but like 70s and 80s is what I've listened to predominantly, and that
Mhm.
bothered all my friends through high school, rightfully so. And the last year, maybe year and a half, it's drastically broadened, but in both directions as far as timeline. It's also gone back to like 60s stuff and 50s stuff in some seasons, but it's also gotten a lot of more contemporary music added as well.
Yep.
But
Yep.
big in
There,
90s right
there's
now, which is weird.
already been a huge upward trend, and I think your taste of music. I think your taste of
Well,
music
you
has
you say
improved
upward
greatly.
as in better taste. I don't think I've got a better taste. I think I have a
I
wider.
better taste, yes, as in wider, because
Okay,
to some degree that is one of the definitions of a
of better
better
is you're
taste of
right.
music
That
is
makes
that you can
sense.
appreciate different things. Because I would say even someone like I listen to a lot of pop music, but if someone only listened to like the Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande type of pop music, that's the only thing, I would say they have a trash taste of music.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, so
Yep.
their whole taste being broadened. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I've been shocked at some of the stuff I've been able to vibe with. But like I've never
Yep.
been able to vibe. I've probably even made fun of some of the songs in the past, and then now I
And now
like it.
you're like, I kind of like this.
Ah!
It's dope.
And
Yeah,
so
I hope that that's probably the most like fun goal, probably the easiest too. I
mhm.
mean, baking a
Especially
casserole
I
is
feel
really
like
easy,
starting
but
college, I did that a lot. Where when I was doing college last time, I did online classes, and so I would have what I don't think it was Spotify at the time, but I would have my music thing
lo-fi.
open, and I would go to basically I would just experiment with different things. That's the whole point. Is that's when I
Yep,
started broadening everything. Is I found a lot of genres by doing that. So
that's dope. I hope that also leads into you getting better audio equipment. That would be
I
really
don't know,
cool.
dude. That's something I've hated about myself. Is my ears can't hear these varieties in like sound quality that I hear people talking about, and I can't even tell if something's flat or sharp. I can't tell. Like
You might be tone deaf. Are you tone deaf?
maybe, but
Like,
like when I played saxophone for 6 years straight, and in band class all the time, the first thing you do is everyone tunes their instrument, and it was just a regular. It was over half of the days they'd be like, "Sam," my name was Sam at the time. "Your thing is flat or your thing is sharp." I go, "Okay," and I would fix it. Could not hear a difference between everyone else, and
dang.
it just became regular where he would just go sharp or flat, just to me because he knew I couldn't hear it, and it was AIDS, and I hate it.
That is pretty AIDS. I want to do a side by side, almost like we could do a
That'd be fun.
like video of it, of going side by side, because I have like a bunch of free earbuds, and then I have these headphones, and then if we get like a bigger variety of stuff, seeing like at what point you can tell a difference, because there is some stuff that it's like this not only like it doesn't even sound like good quality in general because it's like staticky or something like that. Like I want to see what it takes for you to realize that it's
I think
not
one
good.
of the reasons that I'm like that is because the main majority of the music I would listen to was for the message or the lyrics, and so if I could hear what they were saying, I would listen to it, even if it was garbage quality, because I didn't really care about that. I was caring about what they were saying, right? Like the specific message and lyrics, and if I could hear them talking, it was fine. But now that I've been getting more into like all of the sound and the instruments and the vibe of all the sound and all that stuff, then of course I feel like maybe I'm more likely to hear quality better now.
Yep.
When you said a side-by-side test, I thought you were saying you would play like a C and then play a C sharp and see if I could.
Oh, I wasn't even saying like that. We could do that too. That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, what's the last one? We should wrap this up.
Yep. Last one for you. We got money. We got girls. You haven't been talking as much about your job being something you dislike. I don't think you've talked about that at all this year that I remember, but I do feel like that there is something lacking in your life that you don't have like a 10-year or 20-year plan or outlook on like career. I think that that's a major, because what if you thought about it right now and realized, whoa, this totally separate career is something I want to do, and I could actually get into that right now. Like it might have been affecting your life already if you had just made this plan.
I don't think it's going to be as simple as that, but I think long-term goals is a good thing.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to just say long-term goals with both career and schooling for you for the last goal. I'm just going to say, let's say 5 and 10-year goals for schooling and career. That's what I'll say.
That's a good one. Yep. So just written down like something I could do in potentially like an hour, 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah. That's a really good one. Okay. I think the last things, I'll kind of wrap everything up. Your goals, whoever is listening to this, at least one of them throughout this year is get fit. If you need a place to start, get a gym membership today. Go to the gym today, work out, and do the exact same thing every other day of the year.
If that sounds like too much, if that's like definitely something you're like, bro, I'm not going to do that, chunk it down, aim smaller, go, I'm just going to put on gym clothes today. I know that sounds gay, but just put on gym clothes that day. And then maybe in a week or the next day, go, now I'm going to drive to the gym, then drive home, not going to get even get out of the car. And if you start doing it like that, it'll get easier and easier to go further and further.
True. So that's a goal that you guys can think about at home. That is something I would highly recommend. I think that should be our combined thing. Highly recommend. Is the number one habit that you can make is exercising.
Yep.
And yeah.
I agree. All right. Well, if anyone's interested in this podcast, if you had fun, subscribe to the channel. This will come out once a week, probably on Fridays. Just Daniel and I talking. Maybe sometimes we'll bring in guests. Hopefully we do. And,
they have to be intelligent, though, so it's hard to find.
Yeah. It's very difficult to find intelligent people. If you're interested in our comedy vlog channel with our friends, I don't know if I would call it. It's definitely comedy. I don't know if it'd be vlog or what you would call it. Skits sometimes. Go to Flop Slap. The name of the channel on YouTube is Flop Slap. And then our
link will be in the description.
And then we have a gaming comedy channel called Slop Flap. So as opposed to Flop Slap.
And also Dindiny that just walked behind Eli, also known as Trinity. She has a Twitch channel that will also be in the description. Dang. You should go drop her a follow, show up in her chat. If you see a guy named Leather in DMT, you should protect Trinity from him at all costs, assuming that it's a him.
It's one of her streamer stalkers that's really into it.
He's a weird person.
Leather and DMT.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Love you. Subscribe. I love all of you. And get intelligent.
Get intelligent.
We have like one of those cringy like outro like phrases like get intelligent, and then we end the thing. I don't think so either.
I think this is just how we end it.
All right. Bye.